Right now, last week we discussed about the variable declarations and the variable types, and then we discussed about 8 primitive data types. Can someone tell me what are the 8 primitive data types in Java? Quickly. What are the 8 primitive data types? Quickly tell me.
Boolean, byte, char, double, float,
Okay.
int, long, short.
Yes, there were 4 integer types: byte, short, int, long. 2 floating points types: float and double, and then char, boolean. Then string. Is the string is a primitive data type?
Non-primitive.
String is not a primitive data type. Okay, we said that string is a reference data type. And then right now when we are displaying something, when we display something, we have been using system.out.println, right? In order to display something to print into the console. So when you are using those, when you are using system.out.println, right now, we have to put everything as a string. We need to pass in order to print, right? So when you are doing this, there are some cases where some characters are difficult to print. So let's see quickly what are the difficult characters which we cannot print. So let's write type of class first. Class test. Right, then let's main method, public static main. Right now, let's say we want to display hello world string, not string, system.out.println, right? System.out.println. Right now, here we're gonna pass hello, hello. Right, and then the semicolon, and let's save this also. As in my desktop, isn't my desktop Java. Right. Let's get into the desktop and then Java desktop Java. Right. Now it would display hello. Right. But now here, if I wanted to display, let's say I want to display something. The output should be something like this. Sam or whatever, like inside the double quotes, I want to display like Sam or SA, like something I want to do it something like this. But then if I try SA, right now my purpose is to display SA. Oh, let's say inside the double quotes in order to display Java. Like this is what my requirement. But let's try out. Now, when I try to do that, I'm getting an error. So the concern is here, I wanted to print double quotes. I wanted to print the double quotes to the console, but I cannot do it now. Right now, Java or Python, or let's say I want to display something like either Java. Now, this I can't do, right? Now, I can't print the double quotes. Right now, so let's put it as a comment and then we can figure out later on. And or else, let's say I wanted to have Java. Oh, let's say I wanted to have / Java or Python. Oh, sorry. Now it is okay. Right now, let's say I don't want this / I want the /. Let's print this. Now I'm getting an error, so I can't print. Now the double quotes I can't. Now the / I can't. Right, now there are cases where we cannot use right now. Let's say if I wanted to put single quotes Java space Python in single quotes, would it be possible now? Java space Python like this. All right, now let's try it out. Now here single quotes are possible, right? Now, or else like I want to keep a tab space in between these two. I want to keep a tab space. Right now, I don't know. I want to keep a tab space here. Right now, I can. When I'm typing also, I can keep a tab space, but I'm not sure whether based on the characters, I want to line the tab. So, I can use /t, which is the tab space, /t. Right now, then if I want to go to the, if I want to print the Python on the next line, then I can have on new line /n, right? And then again Java Python. Here I have Java /r Python carriage return. Right now, what will happen? Now, okay, someone, I want you to tell me what has happened when I put /r. Right now, I want you to quickly figure it out right now. How can we do this? Right now, if you want to display double quotes, you need to put / and the double quote. If you want to put two lines, then you have to put two /. Then you know /n, the new line, /t, tab space, /r, carriage return, and /b, what happens, I don't know. Likewise, we have right now. Quickly find out what happens here with these. Quickly try out and tell me what this /b does, and whether each is working. Right, what the slash b does? Now, what the backspace does? Now, when it prints Java, and then it does the action of the backspace. Then it types Java, like it types Java, it prints Java, backspace, and then it prints Python. JAV Python. Right now, that is how it will be printing. So, slash B is for Python. Right now, this is for double quotes. Right, double quotes, and this is for backward slash, backslash. Slash n is for new line. Slash t for tab space. Right. Slash r. What does happens is carriage return. How it works right now? It's simply like you type Java and it comes to the beginning by pressing enter or something, like while you are typing, if you press enter, like everything gets erased, and then again it comes to the beginning and then it replaces the character. Then it will be like Python. Likewise, it would print. Now this is carriage return. Now this would backspace. Right. These are the ways of doing. Because in the compiler, like now the requirement of these are like if you wanted to print right now this won't support directly. So otherwise, if you do not use these escape sequences, the compiler will, because the compiler expects only strings inside the quotation marks. But when the compiler found some unsupported or quotation marks inside the string, then it expects another quotation mark in to close it. So like it will get confused, then it will it recognize it as an error. The same as when it hits the slash. Also, the compiler is expecting a string, but inside the string it has some unsupported characters, so it will give us an error. Therefore, in order to avoid these, we use these character escape sequences, right? Then we use a control sequence. Right now, we use a character escape sequence that we call as, we use a control sequence in front of every time. See, this backslash is the control sequence. We are using a control sequence, right, in order to print the specific character or specific task. Right now, if you want to display double quotes, you use the controls sequence, which is a backslash and double quotes. Backslash, two backslashes will represent a backslash. Right now, if it is slash n, then that means a new line. Slash t, tab space. Slash r, carriage return. Likewise, it would display, and slash b, backspace. Right. Okay, any questions up to now? Right now, previously, if you used to print single quotes also, we could have used backslash with single quotes, right? And when you want to move the cursor to the next available form, you can use slash f. And then if you want to display octal value, then you can use slash ddd. And if you want to display hexadecimal value, then you could do like slash uxxxx likewise. Okay, try out how an octal constant could be printed. Right now, let's say Java, I don't know, I'm going to say 111/111. Right now, this is the way Right now it says octal constants where DDE is an octal constant. Right now, let's try out whether it works. 111. I'm gonna save. Right now, /111. Now it represented I. I don't know what is this I. So I want you to find out the relationship between 11111. Okay, in octal, 1111 represent what?
$73.
23.
73.
73. Yes. What is the octal 111 means? The first one represent 8 to the power. Now the rightmost one, this one represent 8 to the power 0. This one represent 8 to the power 1. This one represent 8 to the power 2. So this one is 64. 64 plus 16. Sorry, 64, 8 to the power 2, 8 to the power 1. 64 plus 8 plus 1. 64 plus 8 plus 1 is 73. Then it gives us 73. Then the ASCII value of I, right? ASCII value of I, ASCII of I, it should be 73, right? Now, in octal, let's say we know 65 is capital A, no, according to the ASCII. Right now, in octal, how you can represent 65?
One zero one.
101. Yes, 101, 64 and 1. 101, 101. Now this is supposed to be 65, then it's supposed to be capital A if we are doing it correct. So yes, it is correct, right? Now, this is how you represent octal values and this is how you represent hexadecimal values as well that you could track. Now this is how you use specific characters or control sequence to print character escape sequences, right? Now, since now you all have an idea, I want you to print, let's say, something like this I want you to print. Now, using only one system.out.println, okay? Only one system.out.println line you could use. I want you to print like this, name, age, name and age, subspace, address. Jane, Jane, Yes, I want you to write this, print this. I want you to print these 3 lines, these formats in the console using only one system.out.print statement. Using only one system.out.print statement. Using only one, okay? You can use only one like this. You can use only one system.out.println statement. Using the character escape sequences, I want you to print like this. Okay, quickly do it and send it to me via chat, please. Are you okay with this or you have questions?
Okay, sir.
Right. Right. So we have discussed about this, and then the dynamic initialization. This is just an example of dynamic initialization. Right now, what do you think? What is dynamic initialization? Right now, variables. Right now, this means variables get initialized during the runtime. Therefore, basically, right during the runtime some calculations are happens, and thereafter values get calculated, and that value get assigned or initialized to the variable during the runtime. Now here the radius equals 4, height equals 5. Now these are fixed values. Now these are fixed values at the compiler time. Right, for the double variable radius and height, you assign the value then and there. Right now this is a fixed. Right now, fixed values at the compiler time. But for the volume variable, the value has not been assigned. Right now, when you run the application, then only the volume variable get assigned this 3.1416 multiplied by radius into height. Right. Therefore, this happens during the runtime. Once you run the application, then only this 3.1416 multiplied by radius by height, and then that value get assigned to the volume variable. So then only the volume variable get assigned a value. Then that's why we call it as a dynamic initialization, right? Okay. And right, the variable, the scope. Right now here you can see, if you look at this class, right now here there may be some components which you have not learned yet, because if you are new to programming, then here you may see if conditions and so on, but just don't worry at all. Here just look at this, and here you can see, okay, I will write in my code and then you will be able to see this clearly. Right now okay, let's say we have a variable called integer x equals 10. Right. Okay. And then we have method called, if it is a method has to display a return type of void, and method name is say hello. Method name is say hello. Right. And I have a method like this, and there I have another x equals 25, and here I'm printing the x value. I'm printing the x value. Right now, this is my one of my method called say hello. And right now here I have main method. Inside the main method, I'm gonna print the x variable value. I'm gonna print the x variable value, and also I would like to call the say hello method. Right now, but when I try to call the say hello method, now if I save this and if I try to compile this, I will get an error saying here semicolon missing. Correct. Right now it says what? Here I'm printing x, but now it says I can't access the x variable because this is not a static variable, because I'm inside the main method. So the main method, I'm calling this variable x, which is not static, therefore I can't print. And also it says, I am trying to call the method say hello. Therefore, say hello method is also not a static method, so I cannot call the method say hello, because now these two variable x and this method say hello are the class members. So if I want to run the class itself to access the class members, right now what I have to do is, right now I can call this by first I can create I can call the constructor new test dot x. Likewise I can call the constructor of this one and rather creating an object. So don't worry about this. I could call like this, oh, new test dot say hello. New test dot say hello. Right now I can do it. Right now, what is this new test? Just forget about it. Right now, what I'm doing here is I'm printing this x value. So that's why here I'm using new test.text 10. And when I call the say hello method, it prints x value is 25. So you can see right now here, let's say if it is y, right now if it is a variable y, and then I have another method as well, say hi or something. Let's say I have another method called say hi, and let's say x equals 25 and y equals 10. Right now here, if I try to print the x variable and the y variable, I'm going to print the y variable as well. Right now, I'm trying to print the y variable, so I need to call the new instance and call this say hi. Right, now you can see here, when I try to print the y variable, here also let's print the y. Then you will see, here it won't be a problem. Here it won't be a problem, because if I'm not printing y here, this will work. See, it works. But if I try to print the y here, now it gives us an error saying y is not, cannot find, y variable is not available, therefore cannot find symbol y. Because here this variable, we call this one, we will discuss this later on as well. This variable, like the highlighted one, we call it as the class instance variable. Now this is an instance variable. Right now, why you call it as an instance variable? Because if the variable declared, if the variable declared inside the class, outside any method, you call it as an instance variable, right? Write down that if you require. If a variable is declared inside a class, outside any method, then you call it as an instance variable. So this is an instance variable, right? This variable, you know that a class can have only variables and methods. Class can have variables and methods. Now this is a variable inside a class, but outside any method. So we call it as an instance variable, right? Now this is a method. Inside this method also there is a variable. The same name I have used, right? X equals 10. Here I have used x equals 25. Because this variable is different. Now here we call this as a local variable. Therefore, we call this variable as a local variable. Why we call it as a local variable? Because it is declared inside a class or inside a method. So that variable is available only in that particular method. So within the method, say hello, or within these brackets, if you say x, then x would refer to this variable x, which is 25, which is the local variable. And y also a local variable. Here, if you inside the method, if you say y, then it refers to this variable because there is a local variable. But the scope of this variable is within the method only. Within the method only, the variable exists. Once the scope is left, once let's say we finish the executing this point, then the variable get destroyed. Therefore, the variable will be only available within the scope itself. Right now here, inside this method, if you consider this method say hi, and if you consider this variable x, right now, here there is no local variable declared inside the say hi method. So x now it is referring to the instance variable x because this is the instance variable. Because instance variable x, so instance variables are available for entire class. Right. So here it prints x equals 10. But when you try to print the variable y, there is no such variable called y inside the within the domain of say hi method because y already been destroyed now. So here you will get an error saying cannot find y because y is not available. Right. This is how the variable's lifetime and the scope is there. Therefore, variables are created when their scope is entered and destroyed when their scope is left. Right. So here in this one also, within the main method, you have a variable called x and you have assigned 10. And inside the if condition, you check whether x is equal to 10. And if it is true, then it creates another variable called y and assign 20. Then here it prints the y values. Then within the scope of if condition, y variable exists. But now after this condition, if you assign value to the y variable, you get an error because after this bracket, y variable is no longer exist. Since y variable is no longer exist, you will get an error here. This is how the variables are created, and when the scope is left, they get destroyed. Right. Now we are going into operators. So when it comes to operators, there are different type of operators that you need to know, right? Now day to day we have been used last time as well arithmetic operators. Right now you know arithmetic operators, and sometimes we wanted to compare the two numbers, right? Then we call as relational operators. And sometimes we need to check whether the number is a even number or above 5, or whether the number is with greater than 5, less than 10. Like us, you need to have two conditions to be checked. So in that case, we use logical operators, right? We use arithmetic operators, and then we use relational operators, and thereafter we use logical operators, right? And then what else we have? Then we use like we assign x equals 5, y equals 10. Likewise, then assignment operators. We have arithmetic, relational, logical assignment, and also we have unary operators. Unary operators means working with unary, only one operand. Unary operators working with one operand. And thereafter we have bitwise operators and ternary operators. Likewise, then I'm not planning to go into bitwise and ternary operators, but let's First go with the arithmetic operators. Right now, arithmetic spelling strong, right? Yes, arithmetic operators, you know what are the arithmetic operators? Arithmetic. Arithmetic operators, we know that already. We have already used. What are those? We have plus, we have minus, we have multiplication, we have division, and then we have modulus. And apart from that, we have increment, and we have decrement, plus, plus, and minus, minus. So we have these arithmetic operators. Right now we will discuss this plus plus and minus minus later on. For the time being, we have plus minus multiplication division modulus. Right now, what I want you to do is I want you to declare two variables. Right, declare two variables and then perform the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus, and then display the output quickly. In one line, you can write, okay, x plus y, it should display like 5 plus 10 equals 25. Now you know the character escape sequences as well. So I want you to do it right now for an example. Right now, let's say we have, if you have declared two variables, integer x equals 10, comma, integer y equals 25. Then you can display the variable x value plus, okay, we can have a variable if you want, integer sum equals x plus y. So we can display x variable value plus. And if you want to display the plus operator, plus y variable value, plus if you want to display the equal sign, plus sum. Right. Then it should display 10 plus 25 equals 35. Likewise, I want you to do for these. Quickly try out and send me the answer as well. Quickly send me the answers via chat, please. Is it the same or is it different? A plus plus O plus plus A. Will it give you the same value or different value? Do you think is there any difference or is it the same? No idea? Right. So, in order to get an idea, first I have A equals 2 and let's say variable C also there, A equals 2 and variable C. And I'm gonna assign C equals A plus plus, right? Okay. Both A equals 2, right? And C equals A plus plus. C equals A plus plus. Now here I am printing the value of A. Right. First of all, I'm going to display the A value, A plus. Okay, we need to have space, right? Plus the variable A. And right, then we'll have C variable as well, comma C C variable value as C, right? C equals A plus plus I'm gonna have. Okay, right. Now it says A equals 3, C equals 2. Right. Now the same thing, I'm gonna take copy of it. And again, I'm gonna reset A equals to T, A equals to 2. And right now, let's say X and Y, X equals 2 and the Y. Then I'm gonna say Y equals plus plus X, Y equals plus plus X. Then I'm gonna display the X variable value and the Y variable value. Right. Now, let's print them and see. Right. If you can't hear me, let me know. Right. Okay. Anyway, let me headphones. Okay. Now the problem is you can see a variable. Initially, we have set it as 2. Right. Then initially we have set it as 2. And now when you use C equals A plus plus, what happens is right now it takes as A equals 3 and C equals 2. A equals 3 and C equals 2. Right now the problem is that how comes C became 2 and A became 3. Right now here you need to understand there's a difference between the place where you put this a plus plus operator. Right now, this is an arithmetic operator, or some you may can category this as a unary operator. Unary, right? Now this you can call as unary operator because one operand, A plus plus, only this. Right now, for an example, if you say A, right now, if you write A plus B, there's a plus operator but two operands. A is an operand, B is an operand, plus is the operator. Then there are two operands with one operator. But here, A plus plus, one expression that is only one operand. Therefore, A plus plus, only one operand. So this is only one operand, right? One operand. Then you can call it as unary operator. Increment and decrement operators. Plus plus and minus minus considered as increment and decrement. But again, based on the place where you put, right now this you call as post after the variable, post increment. So what happens here is, first you assign the variable A value to the variable C. So initially variable A is 2, therefore C become 2. First you assign the value of variable A to variable C. Then you increase the variable A by 1. Then you call it as post increment. Now this you call it as the post increment. Now if you wish, you can write down post increment. Post increment. Right. Now here x equals 2 and y equals plus plus x. Right, now before you do the assignment, you increase the variable value by 1. So x value get increased to 3. First it increased the value. So then you call it as, this is a pre-increment. Before you do the assignment, you does the increment first. Right, post increment means assignment first, assign first, then increase. Assign first, then increase. Now here pre-increment means increase first, then assign. Right, now pre-increment, you increase first, then you assign. Increase first, then you assign. Right. So this is what you call as pre-increment and post-increment. Now the same way the decrement or the minus minus operator also works. Therefore, you could try out how the decrement operator also works. Okay, quickly try out. The meantime here, if I use minus minus, and here also minus minus. Now the comments has to change to decrement, right? Now, if it is the decrement, now you can see here, now we are using decrement operators, right? Decrement, post decrement, and the pre-decrement. Decrease. Right, now here what happens, right now this is the decrement operators, right? Now, first it assigns the value of variable A to variable C, so A equals 2, then C get 2. C get 2, and then A value get decreased by 1, so A become 1. Here, first you increase the x variable by 1, then x was 2, then x minus 1 is 1, and then that value get assigned to the variable y as well. Then y also become 1, x also become 1. This is how the decrement operator is working. Right, now, when it comes to these unary operators, you can have plus plus, minus minus, plus and minus, right? Okay, now what is this unary plus and unary minus? How it works? Right now, unary operators always works with a single operand. Right now, for an example, if A equals 2, if A equals 2 and B equals minus 2, then you can have the unary plus. plus A and plus B. Now you can see here plus A gives you A equals 2, B equals minus 2, right? And plus A and unary plus and unary minus. Right now, when it applies for A, which is A value is 2, right? A value is 2, no? Therefore, it gives you the plus A gives you plus 2, the minus A gives you minus 2. And the B value set it as minus 2, then when you say plus B for minus 2, then it gives you minus 2 and minus unary minus. Then minus B minus minus become plus 2. Right now here, this is how the unary plus and unary minus works. Right now, remember if it is unary operators means only one operand. Right, only one operand. Right, unary means a one operand or single operand. It's better to use single, right? Single operand, right? So we have logical not also you can consider it as an unary operator. Right now, we have discussed about this increment and decrement as well. Let's quickly go through. Plus minus multiplication division modulus you already know, and the increment and decrement. And based on the place where you put the increment operator, it becomes pre-increment or post-increment, right? If it is if y equals plus plus x format, if you use now, that is the pre-increment. So you increase the variable x first and then assign it to the variable y. Therefore, if you write it like y equals x plus plus, then first it assign the variable x to variable y, and then it increase the variable x thereafter. Then name it says post increment. Therefore, increment happens after. So if you have y equals x plus plus, then x variable get increased anyway, but the assignment happens differently. Therefore, based on the increment and decrement operator, the assignment, the the order it happens, increment and the assignment is differs. Right. Therefore, you can get a significant advantage in being able to control when the increment or decrement should happen, whether the assignment first or then increment, or increment first, then assignment. Likewise, you can decide based on the place where you put this plus plus or minus minus operators. Right. If it is plus plus, you call it as pre-increment, increment operator. If it is minus minus, then you call as decrement operators. If it is y equals plus plus x format, then that is O plus plus x pre-increment, x plus plus post-increment. Right. Then we are going into the relational operators, where if you want to compare two numbers, two variables, then you could use the relational operators. Right. Under the relational operators, we have equals. Since one equal sign is used to assign a value to the variable, x equal 5. Likewise, x assign 5. Then you set the variable x value to 5. Therefore, that is your assignment. Right now, one equal sign means you assigning the value. So, if you want to check whether the x is equals to 5. Whether x is equals to 5. Then you need to use 2 equal sign. And if it is not equal, x is not equals to 5. Then exclamation mark with the equation. Right, greater than, less than, greater than or equal, less than or equal, likewise, we could use. And there's a difference as well. Right now, previously we have used arithmetic operators, and the arithmetic operators has used what? The arithmetic operators gives us the number as a result. But these relational operators won't give us a number as a result. These relational operators will give us a Boolean value, whether it is true or false. 1 less than 5, whether it is true or false. Right, likewise, it gives us a Boolean value, whether it is the result of the operator. Right, now let's try it out. And we have relational operators. We have equals, we have not equals. Yeah, greater than equals, less than equals. Again, take out 2 variables and then compare the relationship between 2 numbers quickly using these operators. Quickly do it and send it to me via chat, please. Right, now it shows us A equals B, 5 equals 10 false, not A not T equals B. Right, now A not T equals B equals 5, 5 not T equals 10 true. 5 less than 10 true. 5 greater than 10 false. 5 less than or equals to 10 true. 5 greater than or equals to 10 false. Likewise, this relational operators gives us a Boolean value. Now, the relational operators results a Boolean value. Now, the relational operators will give us a Boolean value. Right, now there may be a case. Now, for an example, you want to make sure the given number is greater than 10 and less than 5. 2 conditions to be checked. Now, you need to check 2 conditions. Whether we need to check multiple conditions, multiple relational operators. Right now, how to combine these multiple relational operators and give us the result. For that case, we have to work with the logical operators. Then we have something called logical operators. Logical operators, right? Now, logical operators, right? What are the logical operators? We have AND operator, we have operator, or we have short circuit AND operator, and short circuit operator, and NOT operator. We have AND O NOT. Thereafter, Java has something called short circuit and short circuit NOT operator. Right, now how these AND operators or the logical operators are working. Right, now we said that in order to work with the relational operators, operands should be numbers and the result is a Boolean value. Now, logical operators are working to check 2 relational operators, whether what, in order to merge the answer of 2 relational operators. So, now it's going to work with the Boolean values. Right now, Boolean values. If it is Boolean, true and true, false and true, true and true, false and false. Likewise, right now, when you combine 2 operands, 2 Boolean values with the AND operator, how it works, when you combine O operator with 2, right now, when you combine 2 Boolean values with AND operator, O operator, how it works. That's what now we need to figure it out. Right now, we'll have something like this. Okay, A equals, let's say we'll make it as a Boolean variables first. Boolean A equals true and B equals false, right? Right, now you know the combinations we may can have is we can have is let's say we can have true and true. We can have true and true. True and true is equals to true and true is equals to we can have A and true and true. We can have it like A and B, right? If you want, you can put a bracket as well in order to improve the readability right now. So we can try, and then it says true and true is false. Right. Likewise, the combinations we can have is we can have true and true. We can have true and false. Then you can have false and true. Then you can have false and false. Right. We can do the same thing for the operator as well. Right. Quickly try out for these AND operators and the operators. Right now, true or true, true or false, false or true, false or false. Right now, we can try out for these. You quickly try out and send me the answer via chat, please. How the AND operator and the O operator is working. Right, now I'm going to copy from one of your answers. Right now, this is what I have received from you. Okay, right now, what does it say? True and true, true and false, false and true, false and false. Likewise, okay, you have done it. Great. Okay, now, this is what I'm going to save it first, and let's say this is okay. Right. Now, this is how the AND operator and the O operator works. And the NOT operator also, how the NOT operator is working. And we could easily figure out the NOT operator works as a unary operator. So I can put this logical NOT also inside the unary operators, right? Because if it is not true, if it is not true, would display it as false. Therefore, not operator, and the true is A, not A. And if it is not false, right? Not false should display true. False, B is false, right? Not false. Right now, works with only one operand, as we discussed previously, right? Now you can say not true is false, not false is true, right? Now, if you consider only the AND operators, right? Now, here this is the output. Then here when can you determine determine the outcome, the result? Oh, can you? Or if I ask something like this, can you say the result by looking at the first operand? Can you can you give me the result by only looking at the first operand? That means you're not gonna look the second operand at all. You're not gonna check the second operand at all. You only look the first operand. You only look the first operand and you're not gonna check the second operand at all. So in that scenario, would you be able to say the output like this? Here also like this. If it is the operator, right now, without looking at the second operand, can you say about the results? If so, when? Tell me. Without looking at the second operand, can you make a guess? Oh, not a guess actually, the result. Can you tell us the result, outcome? When you are using the AND operator, if the first operand is true, what could be the result? Hello? What do you think? If the first operand is true, can you say anything about the results?
No.
We are not sure, right? Because it could be true, it could be false. We don't know, right? So it could be true, it could be false. Therefore, that we can't guarantee the outcome. But if you are using the AND operator, if the first operand is false, what can you say?
False.
Yes, if the first operand is false, no matter what the second operand is, therefore we don't have to check at all. If it is the first operand is false, the result is false. If it is false and true or false and false, both will result in false. So in that situation, you don't have to check, you don't have to watch, you don't have to execute, you don't have to calculate the second operand. It's a waste because you know for sure if the first operand is false, then no matter what the second operand is, result is false. Likewise, what can you say about the operator? When you can say the answer? Now you know that if it is the AND operator, if you are if the first operand is false, no matter what you have, second operand is false. Right? Keep that in your mind. Tell me this operator.
If the first operand is true, then the result is true.
Yes, if the first operand is true, always the result is true. That is correct. So I said that there's something called short circuit and short circuit operators. Now these short circuit versions does is it it evaluates the second operand if it is necessary only. Otherwise it won't evaluate. In scenario like if you have the first operand as false with the AND operator, it won't check the second operand. If it is true operand, first operand is true and the operator, then the short circuit too. Then it won't check the second operand. Right then, this is what you call as the short circuit versions. Right now, here, let me clear this. Right now, I said that when I am talking about these logical operators, if you put two AND operators and two operators, then this is the AND operator. This is short circuit AND operator. This is the operator. This is the short circuit operator. The only difference is the short circuit versions is evaluating the second operand if necessary, if required only. Otherwise, always it won't evaluate the second operand. Normal AND operator, normal operator always evaluate the both operands, but the short circuit versions evaluate if required only. For an example, if the first operand is false, it won't. If it is short circuit and it won't check the second operand. And if it is true as the first operand, and if it is short circuit O version you have, then it won't check the second operand, right? That is how the short circuit versions are working. Right now, we just discussed the relational operators. Then we were discussing about the logical operators. We discussed about the AND operator, O operator, and okay, we'll try out the exclusive O as well. Right, exclusive O. Quickly, can you try with this operator as well? The exclusive O. The same way we need for true and false. Likewise, true XOR true, true XOR false, false XOR true. Likewise, quickly try and give me the output quickly. If it is, I'll write it here. I'm not gonna type. Tell me the output. True and true XOR true. I need the answer. And then true XOR false. What is the answer? And false XOR true. What is the answer? And false XOR false. What is the answer? Now, tell me quickly. True XOR exclusive O. What are the outputs? Okay, tell me quickly. True XOR true is what?
False.
False. Okay. True XOR false.
True.
Right. Then.
True.
Okay. False. Right. Yes. Right now, when operands are in opposites, then it will return true. That is how exclusive operator is working. Right now, we have discussed about how the AND operator, O operator, exclusive operator, short circuit O, and the NOT operator are working. Right now, let's clear all, and then let's go more into the exclusive. Right now we have done this table, we already got it. And the short circuit version, right now, if the AND operation, if the first operand is false, outcome is false no matter what the second value is. And in the O operation, if it is the first operand is true, the outcome of the operation is true no matter what the value of the second operand. So there is no need to evaluate the second operand. In such scenario, the short circuit versions come into the play. Right. Right, the short circuit logical operators, right now you can call it as two AND signs represent the short circuit AND operator, and two O operators represent the short circuit O operator. Right now, these are the normal counterparts of the AND and O operators. The only difference of short circuit AND or short circuit O is the normal AND or normal O operator will always evaluate the both operands, but the short circuit versions will evaluate the second operand if required, or only when it is necessary. Only when it is necessary. Right. So, in order to quickly show you that as well, whether how it works, I will show you a code as well here. Right now, let's try out this. Let me type this code for you. Right now, if we have true and false, right? Okay, and I have let's say integer I equals 1, right? Okay, why is it caps on? Integer I equals 1, right? Okay, then what I'm going to do is here let's say I have the Boolean results is equals to let's say first one is I'm going to say A and I'm going to say this one will be always true, okay? A n plus I is greater than 0. Right. Now, here I'm going to display, we have Boolean variable A and integer variable I. Then here I'm going to display the result will represent the result and the I variable, that is result plus result, okay? And also I want to display the right I equals okay result and I value. Right now let's try out what happens now. Here semicolon is missing, my bad. Right now it is true, so AND operator right now A is true, no? So it gives true and 2 as the answer, right? I has increased by 1. Okay, now if I have make it false right now, okay, false is not there, not right, false. Now if I have set it as false right now, you can say no matter A is that means the first operand is true or false. Right now here we can have true, false, likewise true. Right now we have result plus I equals, we'll have the I as well here. Sorry, my bad. Used to the other command C and command B. But again, I'm going to set I value as 1, okay? I value as 1. In order to show this. Now this is for the false, right? False, right? So yes, that's it. Right now, here, always now what does it say? False. Okay, you can't declare same variable again. Right now, no matter what, answer is true or false. You know, the normal operators we use, we get the I equals 2. If I equals 2 means always this operand, this part has been evaluated. This part has been evaluated. That's why we get this I value increased to 2, no? So we'll try with the short circuit version. Now, which one it should give us, I should become 2 and which one I should be equals to 1. We'll see. Right now, in this one, if it is true, we may have to check the second one. Therefore, in first scenario, I value has to increase to 2. But the second scenario, the value is false, no? So it should not increase I value into 2. Right now, let's try out this. Now you can see the first scenario, yes, the both operands has been evaluated because this part has been evaluated. That's why I value got increased to 2. But in this scenario, the first operand is false, but this part has not been evaluated. So still I value is 1. Therefore, now you can see that the AND operator, if it's a short circuit AND operator, not always evaluate the second operand. If the first operand is false, it will not evaluate the second operand. But if the first operand is true, it will evaluate the second operand. Right now, this is how the short circuit version of the AND operator works. Right now, let's try out for the O operator, right? Normal O operator. Right now, O operator. Right now, O operator. Right now, we have only just a normal operator we're gonna work with. Right now, both scenarios, it should increase the I value. That means both sides has to be evaluated because it's the normal operator. But when it comes to the short circuit operator, the short circuit operator should evaluate the second operand when if it is true, no matter the answer is second operand, the answer is true, therefore only in the second case. The first one, I value should be 1. See, in the first scenario, I value is 1. The second case, I value is 2. Right now, you can see by looking at these two, you can see the short circuit versions only check the second operand if required only when it is necessary. Okay, quickly try out if you want to try as well. Right. Okay. Now hope you are okay with this increment and this, sorry, what do you call the short circuit AND operator and the short circuit operator. Right. Now, and then we are going into the assignment operators. Right now, let's see how can we work with the assignment operators. Right. Now we are done with logical operators, and then we are going into the assignment operators. Assignment operators, mainly you have the equal sign, and thereafter you have plus equals, minus equals, multiplication equals, and division equals, and modulus equals. And likewise, you can have these operators, and what else you can have? Plus equals, minus equals, multiplication equals, division equals, modulus equals, and thereafter unary operators also we can have. And then you know the bitwise operators, you can work with the bitwise operators as well. For the time being, we go with these assignment operators. Right now, plus t equals. What is this plus t equals means? Right now, in your case, if you write, okay, I equals 1, and let's say if you write x equals x plus t equals 5, I plus c, I equals 1 at the beginning, and then if you say I plus c equals 5, I plus c equals 5, I plus c equals 5 is same as to writing I equals I plus 5. That means you get the current value of the variable I and increase it by adding 5 and assign it back to the variable I. So I value is gonna be 6. I value is gonna be 6. System dot out dot println. If you print the I value now, it's gonna be 6. It's gonna be 6. Right now, semicolon. Now it's gonna be 6. Right now, I plus c equals 5. Right now, for an example, if it is I minus c equals 5, that means I equals I minus 5. That means from the I variable value, you add you minus 5 and then display the value. 1 minus 5 is minus 4. Or if it is multiply equals 5. Right now, if you write multiply equals 5, I equals I multiplied by 5. Then I equals I multiplied by 5. That means I equals 1 multiplied by 5. 5. The answer is going to be 5. Then for an example, let's say we have 5. And if you write modulus equals 2, modulus equals 2, I modulus equals 2. Right, what would be the answer? Can someone tell me? I equals 5 and then we have I modulus equals 2. What do you think about the answer? I equals 5, I modulus 2, I modulus equals 2. What is the answer? Anyone? What this means? I equals 5, right? Then I equals 5 modulus 2. Then 5 modulus 2 means when you divided 5 by 2, the remaining value. The remaining value is 5 divided by 2 is 2, remaining is 1, right? So when you write I modulus, when you write I equals I modulus equals 2, that means here 5 divided by 5 modulus 2, right? That means what? When you divide 5 by 2, 2 times 5 is 4, right? Then what? You have remaining 1. Right. So the remaining 1. Right. Now we have the remainder is 1. Therefore the output should be 1. Right. Now let's try it out. Right now it has to be 1, the remaining value. When I, this is same as I modulus equals to is same as I equals I modulus 2. I equals I modulus 2. Right now this is how the relational operators are working. Right. I want you to try for all these. Quickly try out for. I'll give you a few minutes. When you have multiple operators mixed together, right now, how we evaluate right now for an example, if you have 10 plus 5 multiplied by 2, right now what would be the answer? What do you think? What is the answer?
20.
20, because what you did first?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. You did multiplication first. And then you did the addition. 5 into 10 become 10. 10 plus 10 become 20. Right now, okay, right. Sometimes if I wanted to do the addition first, I may put the brackets 10 plus 5. Then answer should be 30. Right now, in this scenario, the answer should be 30. Why? Because first I'm instructing first increase the value by 5. And then 10 plus 5, first do the 10 plus 5, then multiply it by 2. That is what I say right now, because I have put the brackets. Right. Now, sometimes I may have scenario 10 plus 5, 10 plus 5 multiplied by 5 divided by 5. Right. Now, 10 plus 5 multiplied by 5 divided by 5. Now, in this case, what is the answer?
$15.
15. Okay, we'll try out this. Right now, okay, we don't need this anymore. We'll just put it here. Ten plus 5. Okay, right. Now, what's gonna happen? Right. Then answer is 15. Right. Now, this is 15 now. Right now, okay, what happens first? Now we need to figure it out. Right now, right. So, if I have something like this, integer x equals, let's say 10, and then we will do it like x plus so equals x plus so equals 5 multiplied by 2. What is the output now? Now we have assignment operator as well as arithmetic operators. Whether what we do first. Now 5 into 2 is 10. Then x equals x plus 10. X is 10, 10 plus 10, answer going to be 20. Likewise, there are some, when you have multiple operators mixed together, we can have operator precedence. Like then we call as operator precedence right now, which determines the order. When you have multiple operators mixed together, which operators will evaluate first and which operator get the priority, and likewise we're going to get the we can get an idea about the operator precedence right now. So as a mix we can say operator precedence. Right now there are level of operators as well, and thereafter we have right now based on the way you have the association, whether the left to right or right to left. Likewise we have the associativity as well. Right now, when you have multiple same level operators mixed together, how you operate, how you evaluate. Right now, for an example, if it is the brackets or the brackets of parentheses, you do it first, and then that is from left to right. Right now, that is from left to right. Now, if it is from parentheses, you go from left to right, if it is the brackets. Right now, if you have plus plus or minus minus, increment or decrement, plus plus or minus minus, then again you go from left to right. Right, and then you have the unary operators. We'll skip for a while, and then we have multiplicative levels where we have the minus, where you have the division, and where you have the modulus. Right now, multiplicative. Right now, then that also goes from left to right, and then we have plus or minus. Plus or minus also goes from left to right, and thereafter we have the bitwise operators, and then the equality operators, and then finally we have the logical operators. Right, we have like for the time being, let's say we have one with something like this, x equals to integer y equals plus x multiplied by 2 minus minus okay, y plus 5. Okay, x equals to y equals 3, and here we have 0. Fine, okay. First of all, we'll do it. We'll deal with this. X plus x into 2, and then we're gonna display the result. Right. Now, without writing this, without typing this, just try out and think and tell me what would be the answer.
Three.
Okay, what is the 3?
Yes.
Okay. Let's run it and see. 6. I got
Sorry,
6. right? Now, we'll see. Now, according to this, first of all, we have plus plus operator, right? Left to right. Now, only one. No? Then x value should get increased by 1. X should increase by 1, 3. And 3 into 2, which is 6. Right now, that has to be 6. Right now, this also 2 plus 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 y minus y minus minus. Right now, okay, let's forget about this to just try to find out a way to get the answer. Now it shows answer as 3, then I want you to explain how you get 3. Right, now what happens now? Now x equals 2 and y equals 3. X equals 2, y equals 3. So plus plus x plus y minus minus. Okay, then x equals 2, y equals 3. Right, now we say when you have plus plus operators, so minus minus operators, we'll go from left to right. So plus plus x. Right, now this has to be plus plus x. Uh-oh. Plus plus x has to be 3. Right, then plus plus y. 3 plus plus y. Plus plus y. Y is 3 already, then 3 y plus plus y become 4. Now this become 4 minus, now y value is 4, right? Y value is 4 and y minus minus, then post decrement. Then what happens now? Is it 4 minus 3 or 4 minus 4?
4 minus 4.
Yes, why? Yes, okay, exactly 4 minus. It has to be 4 minus 4, right? Because the answer is 3. We got the answer as 3. Then 3 plus 4 minus 4 is 0. And then 3 answer should be 3, right? So this is it. Right, now why is this? How comes? Why it happens? What do you think? Because here this is post increment or pre-increment. This is pre-increment. Therefore, initially, now what happens to the x values also we'll write. What happens? It increases the x value by 1. Then x was 2 previously, and then x increases to 3, and then this become 3, and then plus plus y. Now y value is equals to 3 already, and then y value is 3. So what happens now? Y value is 3. Then it pre-increment plus plus y, then y value also become 4. Now currently y value is 4. Then here this is a post decrement. post decrement, it first return the y value as 4, and then the decrement happens. Then it returns 4, and then a y value get updated to 3. Then x value is 3, y value is 3, z value is going to be 3. That's how you're going to get the answer, right? Is this clear? Hope it's clear. Right, if not, I assume that you're going to ask the questions from me, right? Okay. One more question. Let's say A equals 2 and B equals 3 and C equals 4, right? And then I'm going to print plus plus A multiplied by B minus minus plus C divided by A. Right. Okay, quickly tell me the answer. What is the answer?
$10.33.
Sorry?
10.33.
10.33. Okay, we'll see. We'll run this. Okay, we got 10 as the answer. Right, now we'll see how we ended by getting this answer. Right, now what happens first? Now initial values A equals 2, B equals 3, and C equals 4. Right. Now what happens now? Plus plus A. What happens? Is it pre or post?
Pre-increment.
Pre-increment. So plus plus A, it increases the value of A by 1. That means A becomes 3. So this here returns 3. And the next one is multiplied by, before the multiply operator, we need to finish the decrement operator. Then this is what? Post decrement, B minus minus post decrement. So it's gonna return what? It's gonna return 3 or 4.
3.
Yes, it's gonna gives us 3. And then B gonna get decreased by 1, B become 2. Then plus, we have what? Plus C divided by A. But before we going into the plus operator or the division operator, right, again the next level of hierarchy goes from multiplicative level, but minus division and modulus. So sorry, multiplication, division and modulus. So left to right first, it's gonna do the multiplication first. So 3 into 3 become 9. 3 into 3 become 9, and 9 plus, and C. C equals 4, and 4 divided by A equals 3. 4 divided by 3. And so since we have used the integers, now keep that in your mind. Integers we have used 4 divided by 3 integer, result would be an integer. Then it's gonna give us 4 divided by 3. It gives us what? 1. Then 9 plus 1 gives you 10 as the answer. Right now, this is how you're gonna get the answer. The answer is 10. Right now, that is how you get the answers. Right. So this is how you work with the Java operators. I want you to search for the internet for the more exercises. You can search, ask from any AI generative tools, and then like ChatGPT or DeepSeek or any other AI which uses generative AI. Then you can use this. You can ask the prompts like Java operator precedence exercises or something, and then it will give you the many questions. Practice out and learn. And the next day we're gonna talk about the typecasting and the casting that auto widening casting and the that means how you convert one value type to another type, or how the automatic type conversion happens, and thereafter we're going to talk about the conditional statements on the next day. Right. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, quickly ask. Other than that, we can wind up for today. Quickly ask if you have any. Right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.